Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. I am your host, Daniel Atai. Coronavirus has become a pandemic in the world, and we are looking at how AI could help fight the virus, how artificial intelligence, data science, and technology is used to fight the pandemic. Any device, of course, that perceives its environment and takes actions that maximize its chance of successfully achieving its goal is called an intelligent machine, artificial intelligence. COVID-19 was first reported in Wuhan, China, on 31st December 2019 and has since spread to over 100 countries, with Nigeria among them. The disease has been declared by the World Health Organization as a global pandemic, meaning that no solution for now, while the killing from it is very contagious and dangerously infectious. Therefore, there is the need for an AI, which is the use of artificial intelligence. Welcome to Spectacle. I am Daniel Atai. Please stay tuned, and after the timeout, I shall introduce to you a young Nigerian who already developed an artificial intelligence machine and won an international award in faraway Dubai. Stay with us.
The issue here we have to begin to look at is that at the time of independence, I don't know if there was a trajectory to where we are going to.
But how could it be that credible, free and fair under manual conduct of election?
That is where our problem lies, and that is why people are now saying that, advising that we should move, that the world has gone into digital. We should move from the manual to the digital.
We cannot keep doing same thing and expecting a different result.
The only way you create jobs from your ministry is that you have to encourage local content.
If you look at the profile of Salim Mama,
there is a caveat in this leave given to him. He should seek medical help if he's fine.
Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. Welcome back. It was an artificial intelligence that first saw it coming, or so the story goes. On December 30th, 2019, an artificial intelligence company called Blue Dot, which uses machine learning to monitor outbreaks of infectious diseases around the world, alerted clients, including various governments, hospitals, and businesses, to an unusual bomb in pneumonia cases in Wuhan, China. It will be another 9 days before the World Health Organization officially flagged what we have all come to know today as COVID-19. A World Health Organization report last month precisely said AI and big data were a key part of China's response to the virus. And with me in the studio is a young man, Abdul Hakim Bashiru, an AI developer in Nigeria. Is from Katsina State, and a founder of Chiniki Guards Limited. And this spectacle program, he will be telling us on how we could have the nexus of using artificial intelligence in the fight against coronavirus, since it has become a pandemic and people could no longer shake hands. Abdul Rahid, welcome to Spectacle.
Thank you very much.
I can't shake you anymore.
Problem, it's not allowed.
All right, straight to the point. You have developed an AI and you are in Nigeria, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much.
And I believe the country is also proud of you. First of all, the device you created, the AI you created, do you see a link between that security function it has with helping in clinical function, especially the fight against coronavirus, COVID-19?
Yeah, I think AI has a vast amount of application, especially in healthcare. So coronavirus, to me, like the way it spreads, can be contained in pretty much with AI, because AI is a discipline that, when given too much amount of data and enough computing, it can make predictions and it can provide solutions. So I think if you kind of look at the way it's done in cancer prognosis, it's more about predicting what type of cancer that a patient has, and also another application which you can detect the spread. So if you kind of take that application and given enough data, you can model the way coronavirus it's kind of spreading, and then you can tend to make a prediction in terms of what could be done. So healthcare, for me, I would say that any algorithm that that enables diagnosis, prognosis, and enables suggestions for treatment, it's hugely advantageous in terms of dealing with such problems. And what I think could be done, especially in the area of AI, are things around the prediction, detection, recovery, and response. These are all parts which the government can play a role, as well as individuals. It can play a role in helping to contain this infection, because right now we still haven't found a cure yet. So all we can do is take preventive measures and use the data we collect, and thankfully for us, the Nigerian Ministry of Health is doing so much in providing data. So that is very good enough, and of course we're trying to experiment on things to see how we can contribute in this pandemic.
All right, the area of precautions analysis, especially if you go to the airport, you find humans trying to, quarantine people coming in from abroad. We have train stations and we have bus stops. In some countries, they've started, mounting AIs across the bus stops and the airport. Do you see that feasible in Nigeria?
Yeah, pretty much that is more about infrastructure. And I think that there are many places, if you go out, shopping malls, airports, you will see preventive measures are being taken. People wear a mask, which is good. So all those are preventive measures that could be taken. But in terms of what data could do, it's more about getting access to this data and then applying predictive algorithms to come up with solutions.
Now you mentioned prediction, detection, and what is the third one?
Recovery and response.
Recovery and response. Now, how could this machine, this AI, actually be automated to doing this?
Yeah, so it all goes back to the data. If you have enough data, there are two things actually I would say. Having enough data with label classes could be easy. So we have a data of patient who we know is a corona patient, is tested positive, and then we take some of that data and plug it into an algorithm, and then we make a prediction. And in most cases, the algorithm will attain a degree of accuracy about 80, 90, somewhere close to 100. And that could be used in terms of preventing future cases by testing new patients, new suspected cases, and then matching them on that. That could make a prediction of whether or not this patient it's kind of susceptible to such disease. That's prevention. And detection also, AI could play a role. Having a trained model, and then you feed in a new set of data, and then you kind of even though the AI it's a black box. Many of us don't really know how it works, but it works. We plug in the data and then we make a prediction. And so the AI is just a guidance to the medical expert, because you can't take this away from them. They are the experts here, but it's just a guidance given them enough data. Of course, they cannot process huge amount of data. Machines can do that better than them, so it guides them towards making decision. And talking about response, that is something that I think and I believe the government is doing pretty much good, and much has to be done between government and communities and even individuals in terms of responding very, very fast to contain and quarantine some of these patients. And as long as we have that, then obviously we'll have recoveries as we are having in some places part of the world.
All right. And when you talk about this data analysis, what category of data are you referring to that the AI could use for its automation?
So there's no amount of data that is useless for AI. It just depends on the data scientist to determine how he tends to shape the data, how he tends to format the data and build the algorithm. So we are talking about the image data about the molecules of the COVID, data about what are the responses, what are the reaction, medical data that medical experts collect from some of these patients. They are all useful, and having access to this data. And of course, something I would like to add is, it's very critical, at this very moment that we embrace open data.
Okay.
Health data is a data that is very restrictive and due to privacy, which we understand. But it's very critical that we embrace open data and bring in experts to give them access to this data and allow them to try out new things which could potentially provide solutions.
I think wonderful. That this is very educative, and I love this open data. So I would want us to talk more about the data analysis and how, if the government open each door, we could have young scientists like you go into manufacturing this machine, so that some dreaded disease that the whole world has called it and categorized it to be pandemic could be at least preventive as much as possible and isolated from the community. Please stay tuned. Spectacle is still on, and we are talking about coronavirus and how artificial intelligence could help fight it. Well, good. This is interesting. You're welcome back. We are still talking about how to use artificial intelligence to fight coronavirus, since people could no longer shake hands, people could no longer also embrace themselves, and we need machines that could predict, detect, and respond, to patients, and how curative measures could be defined. And I have an expert, an AI developer of AI in the studio, and the person of Bashir Abdul Rakim. And before the short break, I was going to ask you that, looking at the geographical stand of Nigeria, how much artificial intelligence for now do we have? Do we even have artificial intelligence apart from the one you created? And the one you created, where is it? I don't want to I don't want you to give us the video because you have to come and advertise it normally. But then, the one you created is a security intelligence, isn't it?
Right.
It is a security one. What does that do?
Yeah, so what we do is basically focused on human activity recognition. So we take in frames of videos, frames of images which make up videos, and then we feed them into a neural network, which is an algorithm that takes in images and pixels and performs some maths and activation, and then makes a prediction. So we train it to understand certain behaviors of human being, and then we tend to apply it in retail so that we can help retailers in detecting theft. So some of these behaviors.
Okay, detecting theft.
Yeah.
What about sound, movement?
We don't do that. Mostly it's more about gesture and behavior.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what we do. So we help them and then classify the actions, and then we notify them in real time so that they can prevent losses.
Okay, if you are given that chance to help the country develop an AI to fight clinical issues like this, how the cost effective could that be?
Well, I think it's really I don't think it's really possible to mention that, but to kind of predict how much it would cost right now, because it's something like a global pandemic, and what we need is more of a collaboration between experts in subject matter, experts in the industries like healthcare, prognostics, and data scientists, and the contributions from the citizens as well, to kind of come up with approaches and solutions. The experts will of course provide information about what's going on, and then of course drug discovery also is something that AI could help. It's been proven that AI has shortened the drug discovery time with almost a half than it is. So and I think all over the world a lot of people are leveraging on AI to truly understand how the molecules of this pandemic is spreading, and what are the possible solutions that we can come up with. Yeah.
Like in the context of Nigeria,
Yeah.
We are kind of much populated. Chinese right now, like we heard from research that they are using AI the AI first of all sounded the warning that a disease outbreak is about to come.
Yeah.
I think a month before it came.
Yeah.
And 9 days after the AI, the advent of this coronavirus, Covid-19, before World Health declared it a global pandemic. Now, future prediction, what do you think we could do to arrest and prepare for future prediction from artificial intelligence?
Well, I would
we
say
don't have any for now.
Yeah, I would say for starters, if you kind of look at the reference you just mentioned, it, then maybe the older generation.
From the Blue Dot, I got the information that the Blue Dot artificial intelligence alerted the world, but they never knew what it was actually talking about and where. But specifically, it brought the map of Wuhan, that a pandemic, a disease, is going to break out from that particular location. That was the intelligence gathering from the AI Blue Dot company. Now, let me give you time to respond to the question I just asked you.
Yeah. So I would say for starters, maybe it's high time we start listening to younger generation who kind of are more technology inclined, and which is one. And I would also say that what I mentioned before, which is more about open data. One of the experiments that we've tried is to, based on the data we've had, there was a research paper that was released recently, was a temporal relational reasoning that was applied to the relational data that you can get, or in terms of like historical data you can get for the molecules of COVID-19. So that could potentially give you an insight for how time series data gotten from a diagnostic can give you insight of whether a patient, is having that coronavirus or not. It is going to speed up the time of diagnosis, and it's going to speed up decision making as well.
All right, so given the right environment,
Yeah.
and the right collaboration with experts, health workers, and so on, scientists,
Yes.
data analysts. Of course, you are a data analyst now, because without that, you won't be able to develop an AI, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more about data science, data analysis, and then deep learning.
So you are advising the FG to diversify into technology. Is that what you are saying?
It's very critical to look at technology as a savior. I mean, just looking at the past achievements that Nigerians are making all over the world in terms of technology is just an indication that we can compete. So I think it's and they are doing it, but I'll push for more to sort of concentrate and make it a priority in terms of leveraging technology, not just in healthcare, but in almost about every industry that we are facing today.
All right. Looking at the general picture of the COVID-19, do you think that an AI, after prediction, detection, response, could help in bringing out curative measures?
Yeah, it's definitely going to help, and it is helping, by the way. I mean, every morning I receive lots of emails about people who are not in the development community kind of trying out new things and publishing in forums, and I could imagine if they can get more support from the government and of course from the public about what they're doing, that is definitely going to help. So once we have those measures put in place, response is being taken. Obviously, after the prediction, then you can detect. Once response is being taken, obviously we'll be on a safe path.
At what level did you start developing your AI, Chineke?
Okay, I mean like the age or what?
At what level of education?
Okay, like at diploma level.
Or you started thinking about it?
Yeah,
And,
I started doing artificial intelligence, just
Diploma in what?
electrical engineering.
Electrical engineering?
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. I know it has been Abdul Hakim Bashiru, an AI in Nigeria, and a young Nigerian from Katsina State who developed an AI called Chineke. And we are looking at how possible Nigeria or the world over could use artificial intelligence in the fight against COVID-19, which has already become a global pandemic. That is where Spectacle will stop today. Abraham, you have to come back. We need more of you. And on the issue, you have to sponsor your AI so that we broadcast it, we know more about it, we educate people and how the government can partner with you in the fight against COVID-19, especially in this sub-Saharan nation. I'm proud of you, like I said, and I hope when I call you again, you will be available for us.
Absolutely.
You can follow us on our social media platform, on Twitter, YouTube, our website, which is tv.news. And on Twitter, if you search us at TV Nigerian, Facebook Television Nigerian, and Instagram, we're there. Drop your comments and like our page. Continue to follow us and give us ideas. Spectacle is still open for sponsorship, advertorial, your blueprint, your visions, your mandate. If you are a political aspirant or candidate, we are here to do the business and showcase your blueprint to the world. And the numbers displayed on your screen, you could use them to reach us. We are located at Gozape. If you watch the advert now, you will get to know vividly where to locate us, and we wish to have you and we promote whatever you have for you. I have been your host, Daniel Atai, and this is where we stop today. Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. I am your host, Daniel Atai.